Hello everyone, this is video number 2 for the lesson Grandfather's House. First you will write down the hard words in your copies, and they are empty, E-M-P-T-Y, opened, O-P-E-N-E-D, opened. Number 3, carefully, C-A-R-E-F-U-L-L-Y, carefully. Number 4, answered, A-N-S-W-E-R-E-D, answered. Number 5, brought, B-R-O-U-G-H-T, brought. Number 6, cupboard, C-U-P-B-O-A-R-D, cupboard. Number 7, stopping, S-T-O-P-P-I-N-G, stopping. Number 8, gleaming, G-L-E-A-M-I-N-G, gleaming. Number 9, shining, S-H-I-N-I-N-G, shining. Number 10, suddenly, S-U-D-D-E-N-L-Y, suddenly. Children, you will write down these spellings 3 times in your course copy. Now we'll start the explanation. I will read out the lesson. You can read out with me, and I will explain the lesson to you all. I hope you all have seen video number 1, summary of Grandfather's House. So in this video, we'll read the lesson and understand the meaning of hard words too. Heidi is an orphan little girl who lives with her aunt Date. Date takes Heidi to live with her grandfather, whom Heidi has never met before. He lives in a little wooden house high up on the mountains called the Alps, with his 2 goats. The extract you are about to read describes Heidi's first day in her new home. So this lesson, as I told you in my summary, is a part of novel Heidi. In this lesson, we will learn about how Heidi spends her first day in her grandfather's house. Now Heidi was alone with grandfather. He sat on a wooden seat looking at the ground. He did not say a word. So we come to know that Heidi's grandfather was a quiet person. He did not like to talk much. Heidi walked round the outside of the house. At one side there was a room for the goats, which was empty. At the back were 3 big old fir trees. She could hear the wind going through them. The sound was like singing, and she stopped to listen before going on round the house. Heidi was very excited. She wanted to explore the house, know everything about her grandfather's house. She loved nature. We know this as she can hear the song when the wind blew through fir trees. Grandfather was still in the same place. Heidi went and stood in front of him. "What do you want to do?" he said at last. "I want to see what you have inside the house." "Come then." He opened the door. So Heidi wanted to see the house from inside. So grandfather opened the door and took her inside. There was only one room in the house, but it was large. In one corner there was a big fireplace with a table and a wooden chair near it, and in the other was grandfather's bed. There was also a big cupboard. It had everything in it that he needed: a few clothes, bowls and plates, bread and cheese. He carefully put in Heidi's things which Date had brought. So, in one large room, grandfather had a big cupboard, a fireplace, a table, a wooden chair. In cupboard, he had all the things he needed: his clothes, bowls, plates, bread and cheese, all eatable things. And there he put all the things of Heidi too. Heidi looked around the room. Where am I going to sleep, grandfather? Wherever you want, he said. Now Heidi looked around the room and she questioned grandfather, where will she sleep? To which grandfather replied, you can sleep anywhere you wish. Heidi noticed some steps in the corner. She climbed them and found herself in a room under the roof. There was hay all over the floor and it smelled good. From a window in the roof, she could see the mountains. I am going to sleep here, she called. It's nice here. Come and see how nice it is. I know, I have seen it before, he answered. Then Heidi saw some steps in the corner and climbed up there. There she found a place for her to sleep on the hay. Now what is hay? Hay are the dried grass that has been cut and dried. She found good smell from hay and she could see mountains from the window, which again tells us that she loved nature. Heidi made a little bed for herself out of the hay. Then she called to grandfather to bring her some sheets. He had no sheets, but he found some pieces of hard brown cloth. He brought them up and laid them over the. Now Heidi asks her grandfather to bring some sheets and she made her bed over there on hay. It's a lovely bed, Heidi cried. I want to go to bed in it, but it's not night time now. I think we should eat first, grandfather said, and they went down the steps. Grandfather made the fire burn well. Then he cut a big piece of cheese. He put it near the fire until it was golden brown on all sides. Heidi ran to the cupboard. She took out the bread and 2 plates and bowls and put them on the table. So grandfather told Heidi to eat something first, and then he cut a piece of cheese and cooked it on fire. Heidi arranged bowls and plates, and they both will eat something now. So you can think for yourself, said grandfather. That's good. Now where are you going to sit? He puts her onto his own chair. The table was too high for her, but the hot cheese and bread was very good. Then grandfather filled her bowl with goat's milk. She drank without stopping until the bowl was empty. I have never had such good milk, she said. So grandfather was happy to see Heidi arranging bowls and plates and helping him in his work. He made Heidi sit on his own chair and gave her milk, which Heidi liked the most. When they had finished, grandfather cleaned the goat house. Then he found 4 long sticks and cut them so that they were all the same. He took a piece of wood and made 4 holes in it. Then he stuck the sticks into the holes while Heidi looked on in wonder. What do you think it is, Heidi? He asked. It is a chair for me because it's so high. So after eating, grandfather cleaned goat's house. He made a chair for Heidi because grandfather's chair was too high for Heidi. He made the chair with the help of wood and sticks which he found while cleaning goat's house. Evening came and the wind in the fir trees grew stronger. The sound made Heidi very happy. In the evening, when the wind was strong, the sound of trees made Heidi very happy. So we know that Heidi is very much in love with nature. Suddenly she heard the sound of many feet. The goats were coming down from the mountain, running and jumping everywhere, and goat Peter was among them. He was a big strong boy of 11. So now the goats came down from the mountains with Peter. Peter was a big boy. He was 11 years old. They reached the house and went down the hill, but one white goat and one brown goat left the others and ran to grandfather. "Oh, they are so pretty," Heidi cried. "Are they ours, grandfather? Are they both ours?" So now the goats came down from mountains with Peter, and they straightaway went to grandfather, and Heidi was very happy to know that both the goats were theirs. He asked 2 times to grandfather, "Are they ours?" So this shows that Heidi was very fond of these goats. She loved these goats. "Yes, yes, go and get your bowl and some bread." He put the bowl under the white goat and began to milk her. Soon the bowl was full of milk. "Now eat and go to bed. Your night dress is in the cupboard. I must look after Snowy and Brownie." So grandfather told her to bring the bowl. She brought the bowls, and grandfather milked the goats. Grandfather told Heidi to eat bread and milk and go to sleep. The goats followed grandfather into the goat house. Heidi finished her bread and milk and climbed up the steps to her bed in the hay. Heidi climbed the steps and slept on hay after having her dinner. Next morning, Heidi was woken up by a shout outside. It was Peter calling the goats. The sun was shining through the round window and falling in golden rays on her bed. As she opened her eyes, everything seemed to be gleaming with gold. She dressed quickly and ran down. Grandfather was leading out Snowy and Brownie. Next morning, Peter came to call the goats. Peter used to collect goats in the morning and leave them in the evening. He took the goats to the mountains so that they can eat fresh grass grown on mountains. Heidi woke up with Peter's shout, and she dressed up quickly and ran down. And grandfather took out the goats for giving to Peter. "Would you like to go with them up the mountain?" he said to Heidi. "Oh yes," she cried. Grandfather took out the goats, and he asked Heidi if she wants to go up the mountains with Peter, and she was very happy and she agreed to go up the mountains with Peter. So children, this story tells us that Heidi was much happier in grandfather's house. She was very close to nature. We can say so because she could feel the sunshine. She was happy to see the mountains. She could hear the songs when the wind blows through the fir trees. She could hear songs on winds blowing. So we can say that Heidi loved nature very much, and this story tells us that nature's beauty is priceless when we compare it to all material things. Material things are of no worth in place of nature's beauty. I hope you all have understood the lesson. Children, you will get your assignments and you will complete it in your course copy. Thank you.